The gate to my family's ranch was plastered with a seizure notice, the words screaming at me like a gunshot in the dead of night. My heart sank as I read it. Utilities cut, electric fence up, my 20-acre haven in Willow Creek surrounded while I'd been away. This wasn't a bad dream, it was real. Standing at the gate, Margaret Hensley, the newly minted president of the Crest VYEW Estates HOA, smirked with a venom that made my blood run cold. "Rules are rules, Ethan," she said, her voice sharp as barbed wire. "You've got 48 hours to clear out." She had no idea who she was up against. 15 years as a senior Pentagon attorney, untangling land disputes for governments and corporate giants, wasn't just a job, it was a masterclass in warfare. I'd taken on nations and billion-dollar conglomerates. Now, this power-drunk HOA thought they could steal my family's 3-generation ranch with a few forged papers and a smug grin? By week's end, Margaret Hensley would learn why you don't cross a man who can bring empires to their knees. This wasn't just about SAVYing my land, it was about tearing her precious HOA apart, brick by corrupt brick. I'd burned out in D.C., the endless briefings and political chess games draining my soul. When my parents passed last year, just months apart, I took it as a sign to leave the Pentagon and return to Willow Creek, a quiet town now sprouting upscale developments like weeds. The 20-acre Harper Ranch, bought by my grandfather in the 1940s, was my inheritance, my sanctuary. I planned to revive the neglected property, blending a modern ranch with a remote office for legal consulting. The first weeks were bomb-fixing fences, clearing brush, breathing air that didn't taste like bureaucracy. My sister, Claire, sighed often, her city polish softening as we watched sunsets from the porch. "Dad would love that you're back," she said one evening, her voice warm with memory. "You're keeping the Harper legacy alive." But the town had changed. Where fields once stretched, mansions now gleamed, none closer than Crest VYEW Estates, a gated sprawl of cookie-cutter luxury bordering my land. I ignored them until a letter arrived from their HOA, demanding I join their ranks and follow their rules despite my ranch predating their development by decades. I laughed it off, assuming it was a mix-up. Then, in an old shed, I found a metal box under a loose floorboard, stuffed with threatening letters sent to my father over 10 years. They mentioned Project Crest VYU and Boundary Expansion. One note chillingly direct. "Mr. Harper, don't make us take harsher steps. Your land is valuable." The HOA's campaign wasn't nothing hounded my father for a decade, maybe even to his grave. The letters painted a sinister picture. Early ones offered to buy our land at fair prices. When Dad refused, the tone turned ugly, veiled threats of zoning changes, eminent domain, even fake health code violations about our well water, dated just before his fatal heart attack. A yellowed newspaper clipping from 15 years ago revealed a shelved luxury resort plan, its footprint eerily matching my ranch's scenic eastern acres. The article named Leonard Hensley, Margaret's husband, as a key investor in Crest VYEW Development Group. This wasn't about neighborhood standards, it was a long-game land grab, fueled by greed and power. I decided to confront the HOA at their next meeting. Dressed in worn boots and jeans, I stuck out among Crest VYEW's polished crowd, their stares prickling my skin as I sat in the back. Margaret, mid-speech about property values, faltered when she saw me, a flicker of unease crossing her face before she pressed on. After I approached her, "Mrs. Hensley, my ranch isn't part of Crest VYEW," I said calmly. "It's been ours since before your houses existed." Her smile was ice. "All properties here answer to us now, Mr. Harper. No exceptions." When I mentioned the old letters, her composure slipped for a heartbeat, but she brushed me off, claiming another meeting. The next morning, violation notices papered my gate fence height, my chickens, unkempt, landscaping fines totaling $3,000, with threats of worse. That night, I pored over Crest VYEW's founding documents online, unearthing a buried clause about expanded boundaries, omitted from public records, notarized by 1L. Caldwell, Margaret's maiden name. The HOA had no legal claim to my land, but Margaret wasn't just their president. She was a real estate tycoon tied to Pinnacle Development, a firm eyeing my ranch for a massive resort complex. At the county records office, I confirmed Crest VYU's boundaries stopped short of my property. Then, at the notary office, a nervous clerk, Emily Caldwell, Margaret's niece, bailed when I showed her the documents. She made a frantic call, and a guard hustled me out. The family ties were clear. They were forging records together. The HOA's harassment escalated: daily fines, a newsletter smearing my ranch as a disease-ridden hazard, neighbors shunning me. Margaret dodged my calls, sending her attorney, Vincent Crowley, a slick lawyer with a shady past, to bury me in legal threats. A Crest VYEW resident, Ja Vyer Ruiz, whispered his dissent one evening, eyes darting. "Margaret's got everyone scared," he said. "My brother lost his job after we questioned her expansion plans." He shared leaked emails pro-VYing the HOA's illegal boundary grabs and Pinnacle's kickbacks to board members, including Margaret's hefty commission if the deal closed. At the next HOA meeting, Margaret unveiled a forged document, supposedly signed by my father, ceding our ranch to Crest VYU 8 years ago. The signature was Ragno flourish on the H. "This isn't his," I snapped, but she waved me off. "We don't entertain baseless claims, Mr. Harper." My phone buzzed. "Claire. Get home. They're at the ranch." I sped back to find workers erecting a 6-foot electric fence around my property, utilities cut, Pinnacle's orders cloaked as community safety. A local cop, Officer Daniel Pierce, tied to the HOA, shrugged off my pleas, calling it a CIVYL matter. Margaret delivered her ultimatum in person: sell to Pinnacle at a 40-fan tram discount or face fines and seizure. "Don't make this harder, Ethan," she sneered. A neighbor, Sofia Alvarez, a high school teacher, recorded the scene, shouting, "This is illegal." Her VY Deo drew a crowd, but the next day, Sofia was fired, her principal, Margaret's cousin, citing budget cuts. That night, from my darkened house, running on a generator, I watched Margaret conspire with Crowley and Pierce outside. Claire texted, "Pinnacle's planning something huge." In my father's desk, I found a mini tape recorder, his voice crackling. "Ethan, if you hear this, they're back. Protect the land. It's worth more than you know." His words ignited a fire, and met his wasn't just dirt, it was a legacy. The next day, a neighbor, Lucas Hayes, a store owner, rallied others at my gate. "Margaret lied about property values," he said, glancing at hired guards. "Now they're threatening my business license." An unmarked envelope slid under my gate, held a USB drive and a note. "Check 1987 surveys." The files revealed rare earth minerals beneath my land, worth overdue law $800 million, and Pinnacle's lawyer? Leonard Hensley. Using a satellite phone from Claire, I called Judge Laura Bennett, a former Pentagon ally now on the federal bench. "This smells like fraud," she said. "Document everything." I set up surveillance, catching HOA goons on camera. Claire dug deeper, finding Pinnacle's plan wasn't just a resort but a massive data center, my ranch sitting on a transcontinental fiber optic hub. My aunt, Evelyn Harper, a retired journalist, got local papers to question the HOA's overreach. Lucas rallied business owners against Margaret's tactics, while I sent a legal demand to remove the fence and restore utilities, citing their fraud. Crowley's confidence cracked, but Pinnacle doubled down, hiring round-the-clock security to trap me. A text from Javi Wire warned, "Big move tomorrow. Emergency permit." An anonymous email leaked Pinnacle's Zone C plan, confirming my land's data center value. Then, a local judge, Victor Grayson, a Pinnacle crony, issued a flimsy order letting the HOA continue until a hearing. My court filings vanished, twice, courtesy of Grayson's clerk. Crowley's smear campaign painted me as a rogue ex-official hiding Pentagon secrets. I hired Mia Torres, a fierce anti-HOA lawyer, to fight locally, while Judge Bennett pushed for federal jurisdiction. Reporter Noah Caldwell's exposés tied Grayson to Pinnacle's donations, sparking outrage. Support grew. Lucas's petition for new HOA elections gained traction, those signers faced retaliation. Sophia's parents' group exposed the school's ties to Margaret. At a town council meeting, I presented the HOA's crimes, backed by strangers who decried Margaret's reign. The mayor, Evelyn Pierce, tried to silence me, but the crowd roared. Pinnacle's CEO, Richard Dalton, offered me triple market value to quit. "This isn't about money," I shot back. "It's justice. And I know about your deals with Grayson." His mask slipped, revealing fear. Evelyn's digging found a donation note tying Dalton to Grayson's rulings years prior, a smoking gun. I buried Pinnacle in regulatory requests, leveraging my Pentagon know-how. Senator Rachel Coleman, a D.C. ally, launched a state probe into Pinnacle's deals. Emily Caldwell, facing felony charges, flipped, exposing Margaret and Crowley's forgery ring. Judge Bennett secured a federal hearing, bypassing Grayson. U.S. Marshals tore down the fence when Pierce defied the court, humiliating the HOA. The FBI raided Crest VYU's office, finding cash and bribe lists in Margaret's safe. Her empire crumbled. The HOA's VYC president, Oliver Grant, handed me files showing Pinnacle's data center was a Pentagon project under General Samuel Reed, my old colleague. I confronted Reed, who admitted the land's strategic value but swore Pinnacle misled him. My father's notes revealed he'd rejected their plans over environmental fears, a fight I finished by exposing illegal contract clauses. At a packed council hearing, I laid bare the scheme, displaying a leaked Pentagon map tying my land to a military corridor. Reed withdrew support, and the mayor called for a probe. Dalton threw Margaret under the bus, but indictments hit them all: Margaret, Dalton, Crowley, Grayson. The HOA reformed under Ja V. Wire's lead, Sophia won her lawsuit, and Lucas started an anti-HOA nonprofit. I leased 10 acres for a green data center, turning the rest into the Harper Teaching Farm and Legal Center. Margaret's prison-bound letter confessed her vendetta. My grandfather had bought her family's farm decades ago. "I thought taking your land was justice," she wrote. "I became the monster. My father's time capsule urged me to balance progress and community. The ranch, once fenced, now blooms with gardens and hope. I host legal clinics, teaching others to fight. Justice isn't given, it's won. And in Willow Creek, we proved one man, armed with truth, can topple giants."